We are spending more time online than ever before, and sometimes it seems like our digital worlds might even be better than the real world.
Your avatar is beautiful.
So, what if we could completely immerse ourselves in virtual reality?
Yeah.
I'm Linda Rodriguez-McRobbie, New Scientist Features Editor, and I'm taking a deep dive into the metaverse.
All right, I'm going in.
To find out how we might socialize in digital spaces in the very near future.
So where are we, other than inside Kermit the Frog?
I'll discover the surprising ways we communicate without talking, as well as new immersive technologies that affect not only what we see and hear online, but what we feel in the real world too. And what that all means for the society of tomorrow. For the last couple of months, I've been researching this piece on virtual reality. And we all know that virtual reality is super fun for entertainment, for gaming, for immersive experiences. But what I'm really interested in is how people are using these spaces for social interaction, for doing the kinds of things that when I was growing up, we would have done in person. Films like Ready Player One have popularized the idea that virtual reality could become so realistic that we could end up spending more time immersed in fantasy worlds of our own choosing than in the real world. VR technology isn't quite at Ready Player One levels yet, but it is advancing quickly. The question is, will it be good enough to create an authentic social experience? And even if it is, do we want it? I've roped in my colleague Izzy to try out a virtual nightclub, an immersive online space where people come to meet up and hang out without worrying that they're going to get their purse stolen.
I am very excited. It's my first time even holding a VR headset.
So you've never put it on, you've never done anything in VR?
And never.
This is the first time I've ever gone to a club in VR.
It's very exciting. It has not been that long since I've been to a real club, so let's see how it compares.
Should we get started?
Let's do it.
Okay. We got everything. I've organized to meet Karl Clarke, a researcher at Queen Mary University London and the manager of this virtual nightclub.
Shall we get you guys avatars?
Yes. I feel really plain. I could see myself. And I just look like a robot. And Izzy looks like a sitting robot. You're not a robot.
I am my weird, wonderful self.
I love it.
But what we're going to do is we're going to go to a world where you can search for avatars.
It's like Avatar Makeover.
I try to choose an avatar, a digital character that best represents me, but without a clear idea of what I want to be, and with so many to choose from, it's not easy.
So many options.
Oh,
There I am. Oh my gosh,
you're
I'm
tiny,
so
Linda.
tiny.
Linda, you're so small.
You're a goose with giant arms.
Oh, now that it is perfect.
I think you
I
should definitely be that forever.
I love him.
I feel like I'm in the movie Cats, and in a bad way.
Oh, you're small. I like it. Pat you. With my big arms.
With our avatars selected, Karl transports us back to his world. And just like in the real world, I can hear the club before I can see it.
Right now, I definitely feel like I'm in a different place. You know, we are in the middle of this road, and we've got, Izzy's a goose with really strong arms. Izzy, what do you think about where we are right now? How is this making you feel?
It is very realistic. I feel like we're about to enter a really great club, Long road, dark, dingy, no lights, let's go.
I have that feeling of excited anticipation that you get before going into a club, which is an odd sensation to have in the middle of the office. Before we enter, we agree to the house rules, and then we head on down.
So do we get to go down here? Oh, wow.
Wow.
Cool.
Oh my gosh. Linda, where are you? Come join me. Come join me. Okay. Wow. Oh, there's music.
This is
Oh my god. This is quite amazing. I didn't expect for it to be quite so immersive. I can hear kind of 4 or 5 conversations going on around me, just like I was at a club, you know? And I also keep losing you, like in the crowd.
It's basically like being in an actual
I'm
real life club.
genuinely surprised.
And there's all these people in sort of very fantastical and kind of amazing avatars. I'm seeing a lot of like cats and fluffy tails. I think I might have a fluffy tail myself. I do have a fluffy tail. Oh, I can switch my tail.
Oh, I like this cow.
This is amazing. It's interesting, like not being as spatially aware of my person. So, you know, I'm interacting with people and not getting the kind of physical feedback of having a tail.
It's almost just like the real thing. Crowded, dark, chaotic. It's also a little overwhelming and, like in a real club, hard to hear. So we head back out to take a break.
Okay, it is weird because you're out of the club and it's suddenly quiet, just like the smoking area.
Yeah.
Wow.
We join a circle of clubgoers in an astounding variety of avatars, including Hal, one of Karl's DJing friends.
How frequently are you like playing these games and coming into this space?
Usually it's a couple of times a week. There are quote-unquote phases where I play almost daily, though. But of course, after work, you know, to kind of calm down, to meet a couple of friends.
Izzy, what do you think so far of the experience, and would you come back?
I am pleasantly surprised. I was kind of cautious, a little bit of a skeptic, but I'm impressed by just how real it is, despite so much fantasy. And this is my first time in a headset, so it's quite impressive that I'm even trying to kind of make eye contact with each of you as I'm here. I can hear you on one side, I'm looking at you. It feels like we're in a circle chatting.
This is very, very natural in real life. And the fact that it's, despite the fact, all of the things that are breaking reality right now, the fact you've got even disconnected arms, there are so many things wrong with what we're currently seeing, but there's also so much right about what we're seeing and how we're acting.
The technology is facilitating our conversation, and it feels surprisingly natural, but it's not perfect.
Am I wearing clothes for you? Or am I naked?
You're naked.
Oh no! Okay, I still have to fix this version. I'm wearing a hoodie and some white sweatpants right now.
Our headsets don't show the world to the same extent that Karl's system does, but there seems to be a subtle but really important ingredient missing. And it's not just Hal's trousers.
What would make it even better?
The main part, honestly, that I'm currently working towards is also getting a face tracking module, because for what I can tell, the emotions that I can express, it is limiting. Because, for example, right now I am raising my eyebrows or something. You can't tell. Seeing the face move and react to certain things without saying something is essential to communication, in my opinion.
That's one of the things that my research and my lab's research actually kind of like focuses on, is the fact that, you know, are these facial expressions that we make, are they important? There's a lot that your face does that you just don't realize that you're doing. If you guys are up for it, I can send you on, funnily enough, a little goose chase in order to come to a place where we're experimenting, and we can try out some VR experiments.
We will see you there. That sounds amazing.
See you in the real world.
See you in the real world.
Woo. Oh my God. I didn't expect that. I couldn't believe we were really kind of meeting people. I don't know why I didn't expect them to be, you know,
real people.
Real people?
It felt really, really natural, like having a conversation at a party.
I know. We got out to that main area and we were stood in a circle, and I thought it just felt like the outside of a club, just chit-chatting.
Yeah.
Meeting new people coming up. It was quite nice. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
Karl's nightclub is just one of many hosted by VR Chat, the leading platform for socializing in virtual reality. The company has seen a 30% user increase in the last year. Virtual socializing is obviously working, but as we learned at the nightclub, it has some limitations. Turns out,
Exploring those limitations is throwing up some really interesting research into how we communicate in the real world. I'm intrigued to find out how VR is demonstrating why facial expressions and body language are so important in communication. We're meeting Karl in person at Target 3D, a leading motion capture and immersive technology studio in Southeast London.
Target? Okay, I think we're here.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Nice
Hello.
to meet you.
Hi, I'm Karl.
So you are not a dragon.
Indeed, I'm a human.
You're a human being.
My research specifically is on the formations of conversation. So basically, when people get into a conversation or leave a conversation, how do they spatially arrange each other? And how does that weird dance almost work? With VR, and especially with events that happen, there's a lot of these formations constantly dynamically being created and being destroyed. So it's a really, really good environment in order to study this.
Target 3D offers a range of cutting-edge technologies, most of which is aimed at the entertainment industry, animation, gaming, things like that. But this tech can also help researchers like Karl answer key questions about how we communicate.
This is so green. So where are we other than inside Kermit the Frog?
So this is Studio 2, and in Studio 2 we have a range of performance capture and motion capture technologies. The range of cameras that you can see offer optical motion capture, volumetric capture, and markerless capture. And today we're going to have some fun with the markerless tracking technologies that we have going into VR experiences.
Target 3D had pretty much the best on the market when it comes to markerless motion capture, which means that it can capture you without using any physical trackers on your body.
We're going to dive into some VR worlds for you to explore, and we'll see how that tracking technology also captures your human form.
You guys have used one of these before, but probably not to the extent that we're going to be using it today. So there's a set of extra cameras in there that will look at what your eyes are doing, what your mouth is doing, and then try and recreate that on an avatar.
Very cool. I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, let's get you rigged up.
Okay.
And I'm just going to put this
on.
over here.
Markerless technology uses video and analyzes that video and understands, in this case, the skeletal form. Because they are markerless technologies, they don't have the issues of technologies getting in the way, jumping into a suit or suiting up with a range of markers and everything that really becomes a significant challenge, particularly in a clinical environment, for example, or a medical scenario where the technology gets in the way of good data.
It's a studio.
Very nice. As we familiarize ourselves with this new tech, the tracking system calibrates to our bodies. I immediately notice the freedom you get from not having to use hand controllers.
Red planet. Oh my gosh.
We're in Mars.
What I particularly like about the Queen Mary University project that we're currently working with, and a range of other projects that come through our studio, is the opportunity to apply these creative industry solutions to scientific clinical challenges.
All right. First of all, headsets off. This whole time we've been recording your 3D movements. So if you look over here, you can see really how high fidelity this tracking can be. And there's some really interesting things that we can do with that in terms of research-wise.
Karl introduces us to his research supervisor, Professor Pat Healy, and fellow PhD student Ella Cullen. And it looks like they've got a social experiment for us to try in VR.
Yeah, so you've seen that you can capture all this live data, you can interact, you can move your hands and your face and your bodies. We are interested in how that works and how communication works using all of that non-verbal resource. So we're going to ask you to go back in to a virtual environment. And we want you to just have a chat, actually, just have a conversation. We have a particular view about what's important in human interaction, which is essentially to think about when it goes wrong. So, misunderstandings are my big interest. Trying to get a handle on when people detect a misunderstanding and also then what they do about it and how they recover from that. And I think that's really the fundamental process in human communication. It's what keeps conversation afloat and keeps us, helps us to maintain shared understanding. So you might want to think about some recent semi-frightening event that happened to you, a close call, something bad that nearly happened but didn't. One of the landmark experiments looking at collaboration in human interaction was done by Bavelas. She took people and they had to tell a story about some kind of significant, probably bad thing that nearly happened to them that didn't. So it's like a close call story. They nearly got run over, a tree nearly fell on them or something. And while they were telling the story, what she did was she compared two kinds of listener. So one kind of listener was just listening to the story. The other kind of listener is counting the number of words you say beginning with T. The genius thing about this is that both listeners are really paying attention. They're definitely listening. They're looking at you. They're totally focused. But only one of them is listening to the content. And that changes everything for the speakers. The active listeners, the real listeners, they produce lots of little facial expressions, carefully timed, that are appropriate to the story being told. The people who are counting, they've just got blank face. They're not doing anything. They're not nodding at the right moments. They're not showing surprise or horror or anything like that. And that destroys the speaker's ability to talk. Ella is going to be running an experiment. We can't tell you exactly what she's going to be doing, but obviously we're interested in the communication, how naturally you're able to interact in the virtual environment.
Exciting.
Does that sound okay?
All right.
Sounds good.
So
Let's
if
do
you
it.
could put the headsets back on and we'll start.
Let's do it.
What virtual reality allows us to do is we can disentangle certain parts of the face and facial movements, so we can see the specific impact, for example, of eyebrows or gaze. These can be micro movements, these can be very quick, but what this allows us to do is play around with temporal patterns in the conversation too, because we can put these anywhere in the conversation and see what happens.
VR for us is a tool. It allows you to change parameters of interaction without people's knowledge. So I could appear as a different height than I really am to you, but I wouldn't know there was any change, but you would see a change. In previous social science studies, you couldn't create a kind of double-blind situation where people did not know what the manipulation was. You always relied on confederates or the experimenter. It's just a much more powerful tool for doing that.
While I've been thinking up a close call story, the team have been setting up the experiment. And the first thing that they've done is given us different bodies.
Discover that
Who's
soon.
that? Is that you, Linda? Linda,
right.
you've changed.
Is Linda's...
Okay.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
And now turn around.
Turn around.
What? That is crazy. Hi. Wow.
Why don't you describe to each other what you look like?
So basically, you are an older gentleman without hair and a very large head.
Oh my god. Cool. You look like a young black woman, maybe in her 20s, with a red and pink shirt. You look quite nice. You are standing like a bit high above me, like
Yeah.
some kind of god.
It's weird talking to Izzy when she looks like this. Probably actually even weirder than talking to her when she was a goose with jacked arms. And this dark, quiet environment is a far cry from the noisy club, but it's intended to keep us focused on the task at hand.
So Linda, can you think of something, can you think of a close call story? Like nearly got run over, nearly got something along those lines?
I do tend to make a lot of bad decisions. And one time I was on holiday and went to the beach by myself very early in the morning. It was like 6 a.m. I was in India. And I went out into the water to go for a swim, as you do at 6 a.m. in India by yourself at the beach. And I got caught in a rip current. And it pulled me down the beach and I was underwater, probably not for probably not even more than 20, 30 seconds. But it was long enough that I thought, right, this is it.
The headset's face tracking is mapping Izzy's facial reactions onto her avatar. But while I'm trying my best to tell this story with as much drama as I think it deserves, Ella is secretly overriding those facial expressions. And the effect is disconcerting.
And it was a really weird experience in a lot of ways because there was nobody there to witness it at all. And it was quite frightening. So that was the most recent, not most recent, but that was.
But you survived?
I survived. Yes, I survived, and had a nice rest of my time there. But it was, it was a weird experience.
Have you been able to swim again?
I have. I certainly got over it fairly quickly. But I have definitely, I think, learned some lessons being a bit more sensible and not jumping in by myself at 6 a.m. Your face is so funny.
We insert little questioning faces or displays, little toolkits from the face, and we then look and see what is the speaker doing when they see these different parts and how does that impact the conversation. And we actually have found different movements are related to different types of trajectories. So they might reformulate, or they might hesitate, or they might even ask, are you okay? Are you keeping up with the conversation?
People think of active listening as just keeping your ears open and paying attention, but it's not. You are constantly displaying your understanding so far of what somebody's saying to you. So the nods, the eyebrow raises, the smiles, the looks of surprise, the timing, the rhythm of those things, they all matter hugely to a speaker's ability to talk. Sometimes you know that the person you're talking to has disappeared to some other world, and you know that because their non-verbal feedback has suddenly become a little bit weird. We're very good at detecting it. Okay, so that's great. Thank you very much. I hope that wasn't too traumatic. Ella, do we have enough data?
We have plenty.
Great.
I'm very happy with that.
Okay, that's brilliant. So thank you very much. Take their headsets off.
So we played around with really fine-grained manipulations. So we did some that were more puzzled looks, which actually had some really nice pragmatic effects to the conversation. It actually caused you to hesitate a couple of times, which was amazing. But then we also did some contrasting ones to the content, which is kind of similar to Bavelas. So I made you smile when you said something quite sad. I added rage and disgust at one point, and that actually made you say your face looks weird. Yeah. So it really shows you can have these really subtle ones that actually you don't notice so much, but it does change that operation of the conversation. And then you have the really salient ones where you think that's not appropriate.
This research is decoding how nonverbal communication works in day-to-day life. But it's also demonstrating the need for more sophisticated facial expressions for successful social interactions in virtual reality.
These micro movements have dimensional impact on the conversation. They've got very localized impact where it can make a conversation go entirely wrong in sort of 1 second, or it can help resolve the conversation and misunderstandings. But this also has much broader and global impact to the conversation. For example, if we're placing minute smiles periodically throughout the conversation, that could impact someone's whole rating of the person themselves and the success of that conversation.
The implications for how nonverbal communication could be manipulated are far-reaching, and they could be even more dystopian than Ready Player One.
Some of the most interesting applications of VR are turning out to be ones in which you augment or enhance interaction. So you add smiles to somebody who doesn't smile enough, and that should have a positive effect. But equally, you could then make people overly persuasive. Politicians could become a little bit more persuasive in their messages. Sales, you could get more compelling sales pitches. So it has a sort of utopian and dystopian possibilities.
Okay, thank you so much for that.
VR technology is advancing so rapidly that playing or socializing in a digital space might no longer be limited by just what we can see and hear. Benjamin has another immersive surprise in store for us.
We're going to have a look at some Teslasuit technology. George can talk a little bit further about that.
The Teslasuit has 3 systems, so it's haptic, it's biometric capture, and then also motion capture. So the intent is when you're using VR, a lot of the experiences through a headset, you can see things and hear things, but you can't feel things. So if you want to be fully immersed, Teslasuit allows you to really feel things in virtual reality.
So when you say haptic, it means that you can feel things.
Exactly, yeah. So inside the suit, there's electrical conductive pads that attach to your muscle groups. And when the stimulus comes through the signal, you would feel the environment of the virtual world.
Does it hurt?
It can hurt, but we try not to hurt people, obviously. We say it can be anything from a light touch in your skin to we can fully actuate your muscle. You know, the stimulation from an electro sensor is not going to be exactly what you'd feel in real life. But when you see something and you feel something in the same part of your body in the virtual world, your mind actually kind of tricks yourself to believe that that's happening, right? So if raindrops are falling on your arm, you're not really feeling raindrops or water, but your body, you know, with the visual cue of raindrops will tell you that you're feeling water.
All right, are you ready to get suited up?
Yes. Sure.
Okay.
I've heard about Teslasuits, but I've never had a chance to try one. I'm looking forward to the raindrop experience George described.
This is so cool. It's way heavier than I thought it would be.
We're going to look like superheroes.
I can't wait.
Let's do it.
This is so cool.
All right, off you go and get changed.
Before we jump into the experience, we have to calibrate the electrodes.
So what's the max? Can you do the max?
Izzy goes first.
You want to do max?
Max it out.
Okay, ready?
Yeah. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is not quite the gentle raindrop experience I had in mind. George has plunged Izzy and her Teslasuit straight into a first-person shooter.
Aim downwards, like on that. You all right? Okay. There the guys. Is it? All right, I think you died.
I died already?
I think you died. Did you feel?
I felt like I was being shot down,
okay.
Wait, do you feel like your heart was beating? Because I think I was like panicked for you.
Now it's my turn.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, you feel pain. So you're not impervious to pain.
I felt that.
All right, I'm going in.
How hard can it be, right?
Jump down. Oop, jeez.
Don't shoot! Stop shooting at me! Don't! Sugar nuts.
I think you died.
I think I'm dead. Whoa.
How was that?
That was really intense. Like, it was really cool, but it was really intense. And I could definitely feel all of the blasts and everything.
Yeah.
It was just sort of, that was also what told me I was getting shot at.
That's a whole lot of that immersion I was talking about, right? Like you feel like you're really there as opposed to just seeing it.
Yeah.
Teslasuit has also developed an exoskeleton glove that can simulate sensations in the wearer's hand, creating the perception of touching or grabbing something solid. It means you can virtually touch someone from across the globe and feel it. It makes a Ready Player One type future seem possible.
Examples like Ready Player One, where Wade is using an all-in-one system for the better part of his day, I think will actually be super helpful for some people, for example, who don't necessarily have the option to engage in the physical world. And I think that will be really exciting for them, where people can engage and interact as they desire rather than as their situation kind of dictates.
In the meantime, the technology is finding practical applications with frontline services.
One of the industries that really embraced the Teslasuit is military applications and police teams. The real-world sensation that you get from physically experiencing the virtual interaction that's taking place is extremely valuable in supporting learning. The tools themselves have also found their way into hospital and rehabilitation clinics. There's a New York-based hospital which has specialised in lower limb rehabilitation and used the Teslasuit for a research and rehabilitation program over the last 6 to 12 months, which has been really, really successful.
And other companies are innovating in this space. Benjamin introduces me to Daniel Tonks and Hazel Yezeldag from Valkyrie Industries. They're developing a unique physiotherapy platform called V-Health. It combines the same electrostimulation principle of the Teslasuit with a gamified, immersive user experience.
So we are using 4 gel pads. 2 of them goes to your extensor muscles and 2 goes to your flexor muscles.
And it looks like I'm gonna be zapped again.
We mostly work with patients and individuals with neurological disorders. So in this gamified experience, we are focusing on upper limb impairments because 60% of stroke survivors, the stroke leave them with upper limb impairments. We are leveraging motion tracking of the headset, and this is how it gives you real-time stimulation depending on your movement in virtual reality.
Just going to calibrate your space.
So both virtual and actual tables aligned, and now next step will be the calibration.
So we're going to do your extensor muscle first.
Oh, tickles.
One more. This is 5, so I can see your muscles being activated there. So we're now going to do the same process on your flexor muscle.
Ooh, that made my finger move.
Let's try one more.
Ah.
So we're going to start now with our fishing game. So just going to move into here. We're going to do some assistive NMES, which should help you catch the fish. So if you rest your right arm as you are now, your left arm is not necessary for this process.
Okay, so I'm gonna catch a fish.
Yes.
All right. So I'm seeing the little fish, and I guess they're piling up in the basket. And, oh, come back, friend. Oh, so what I'm feeling right now is the contraction of my arm muscle, but I am definitely doing a lot of the work. Yeah. But it is amazing though that it's moving my muscle for me, and it's really difficult to deny the impulse to actually squeeze my fingers, move my hands. I'm feeling it primarily in my ring finger here and also in my middle finger here, activating this a bit like, maybe like puppetry. It's definitely taken over my competitive instincts because I really want to catch the fish.
I try out another task, this one aimed at rehabilitating finger movements.
Ooh, it tickles.
So you should be feeling that the air bands are doing much of the work for you to open and close your grip.
Yes. Ooh, look, I made a duck. I can feel it as I'm approaching the object that I'm meant to be moving, that it does the grabbing for me and helps me move it over. In terms of outcomes for patients, are you able to sort of quantify improvements and what you're seeing? Is there a way to put a number on that? Or?
It can't put a number on it, but in one of our clinical trials, we did have a patient who had a very, very limited to no mobility in his hand. And after using our application, did actually have the ability to flex his finger. It's a small improvement on a small session, but it does demonstrate that technology works and it does give them the extra mobility they need.
And also research outcomes shows that XR, or the virtual reality, helps with patient motivation, and electrical muscle stimulation helps with regaining mobility and re-educating that neural pathway. So we're just combining these two.
I should say this felt really, really weird and also kind of cool.
Valkyrie Industries' system is a clever fusion of immersive VR and medical therapy, demonstrating a really important use case for the tech. The hope is that it could be used to bring treatment into the home and reduce the burden on overstretched health services. Provided VR becomes mainstream enough to be adopted at scale, the possibilities for immersive digital health tech are far-reaching. At Pat's lab at Queen Mary University, London, the team are discovering the surprising ways that immersive technology can impact health outcomes through communication.
Virtual reality has much more it can offer in terms of even just studying conversation. It's informing us of the importance of timing and movement, for example, so it can get much more sophisticated, but then eventually to the point that it could be so sophisticated that it can be inputted into virtual reality and actually improve conversations. If we can help people relate to each other through the virtual reality, or increase, the positive feeling of a conversation because we turned up smiling by 5%, it could have huge benefit.
Social interaction. It's at least as important for human physical and mental health as obesity, as smoking, as air quality. It has this very, very strong effect. And it's nobody disputes that effect, but nobody really knows how it works. And we're building technologies that are going to change social interactions. So if you think that an AI agent can deliver therapy, you really want to know, is that going to work? Is that going to work as an interaction? Will people find it, authentic, convincing, empathic? Is it okay to substitute for a human being in those situations where we know it could have very, very marked consequences for long-term health and well-being?
It's a stark warning, especially as immersive and AI-based tech becomes more user-friendly, more sophisticated, and is being deployed in more and more places.
VR technologies has progressed. Its practicality has gone from headsets having to be tethered to powerful workstations to be accessible to really quite portable devices. The headsets have got smaller, they're less weighty, they're more comfortable, therefore prolonged use is possible. So all these factors have contributed to make VR a lot more usable. I personally think that this is all going to move towards a more mixed reality world where spectacles or apparatus will have the ability to switch between virtual and mixed reality quite quickly. And then things like the interactive haptic feedback technology then adds a much more level of utility and bidirectional feedback. So the viewer is not just passive and they're not just navigating the space is also interacting with them, which is hugely powerful. There's also the advent of the integration with robotics in situ. So in Japan, there's a cafe which is staffed by robots, which is controlled by people with mobility issues, where from home they can then embody these robots and therefore participate in performing functions. So communicating with humans. Humans like to communicate with other humans, and these tools are enabling that kind of thing.
People, when they don a virtual reality headset, their expectation is that something very immediate will happen and they'll understand it and they'll walk away with it. Whereas I think that the use of virtual reality over time and in different scenarios will change people's perspective of how effective it can be in supporting the development of community and the understanding and appreciation for being together in groups.
I don't think it's ever going to replace reality, but I think it has a chance to be kind of an addition to reality. So I don't think we're ever going to get to the dystopian cities of Ready Player One and Cyberpunk and that kind of dystopia. But I think there is definitely, something there for everyone.
And that's something immersive tech companies are banking on, with the global market exceeding $40 billion and continuing to grow. This kind of tech is clearly here to stay. And if our experience is anything to go by, that's not too surprising.
I started this whole thing never having touched a VR headset, never even really played a video game. And so I've come a long way, I've learned a lot. I saw how virtual reality can change social communication and just how far we're getting with the technology and how much it's improving. And I was just impressed with how it fosters a community and how kind of enables people to become friends with people they wouldn't normally know and friends in real life. And then what virtual reality teaches us about communication when we lose our senses and we only really have two left with sight and hearing. How does that affect how we communicate? That was really what stood out to me.
We've caught a glimpse of how immersive technology could be integrated into our lives. The question is, can it become indispensable?
This whole experience has been just a wild journey because we're at a place right now where the technology has advanced to such a point that it feels really, really real. So when we were at Target 3D and experiencing the haptic suit and being in that whole setup at the motion capture and being fired on in the game that we were playing, all of that was eliciting the real kind of emotions and adrenaline and feelings of that experience. But I think the thing that I learned the most, especially when going to the VR nightclub, it just wasn't quite the same as going to a club. And virtual reality is going to continue to evolve, and it's going to continue to be a part of how we are entertained, how we meet people, how we socialize, how we game, how even we work. But I don't think it's ever going to fully replace the real experiences that we have in the real world.
Virtual clubbing, yes, I would do it again. Probably not every day though. But now I will.